Living my best.
How's everybody? All right. Let it be known, March 25th, 2022, I am now forever known as Christian's dad. It's kind of nice. I like it. But the truth of the matter is I was watching Dave Sterling come out here. Thank you, David. I love you. When you came out here earlier today, and you got that well-deserved standing ovation, I was thinking of Laria. And as I stand here today, I'm thinking about Jenny, my wife. I just think, and Haley Hobson, I loved your presentation. It was awesome. I was just thinking about the fact that when I started doing doTERRA, at one point we made this decision that our kids needed her there, and she would let me go and build my business while she stayed and built our kids. And if you thought Christian was good, everyone who comes up to me and says, "Good job, Dad," you need to really be saying, "Good job, Mom." And she's the reason why. So anyway, I was at a Blue and Presidential Diamond Summit in December, and while I was there, I asked a question of the group. It was kind of an intimidating group because you're standing in front of this group that is very successful, and you're like, what am I supposed to teach you? But I asked this question: what do you miss most about when you were working incredibly hard and getting paid very little? What do you miss the most about that stage? The thing that was interesting is as I looked around the group, you could see this group of people that are extremely successful, and they all went back and they had this fondness for it. I would like to ask this group of Presidential and Blue Diamonds, is there anything that you miss about the time when you were working really hard and getting paid very little? If you miss anything about that time, raise your hand. Yeah, and I know what the answers are already. I've asked many of you what they are. Part of it was this incredible amount of hope that just filled your life. You didn't have what you wanted yet, but you hoped, and that hope is something that is so contagious and so awesome. And the only reason I bring this up is because the people that are sitting in this room, that are outside of this area of the room, I want you to know that you don't miss what you're going through. I missed the time when I was back there. I miss those moments. I was actually asking David Sterling before I came up on stage, what do you miss the most about the time when you were working incredibly hard and getting paid very little? When the bank accounts were getting really, really low. And he said, the thing I miss the most is the little things meant so much. Every victory meant something. He talked about every month when they'd every month was a record-breaking month. They celebrated everything. Do you remember when your first enrollment, can you remember that? I do. I remember the first enrollment and just being this joy that came. Anymore, I sign someone up and I'm like, yeah, I've done it before. I've done it a million times. I'll do it again. So what? Oh, you're going to commit. But I remember in the beginning, I'd talk to somebody and they'd be like, I want to build a business. I'd be like, oh, you do? You're going to be a diamond. I'd go home. I'm like, oh, I found a diamond. Now someone comes to me and says, I'm going to build the business. I'm like, yeah, they'll quit. You freaking. I know you. I've seen you before. You liar. That's what you are. You're a liar. And then I noticed something. When I was building my business in the beginning, because I was naive enough to believe, it happened. The people who came to me and said, I'm going to be a diamond, I'd be like, I believe you. And we're going to do something special together. And then we would go out and do something special together. And the reason that they did something special is because I believed they would. And after a while, I realized that whenever I'd have someone come up to me and say they wanted to be a diamond, eventually I stopped believing, even the people who could, because of those who didn't. People would come to me and say, I want to be a diamond, and be like, great, let's go, and then they'd quit. And that happened a few times, and then after a while, I started reserving my belief and holding it as if I only had so much, as if I wasn't able to give all of my belief to the new person for fear that that belief would be hurt. Belief is so powerful. This is a model that I was introduced to when I was about 19 years old. And when I saw it for the first time, I spent years studying it, diving more and more deeply into it. But basically, it looks like this. Belief leads to work. It leads to action. True belief leads there. And work leads to results, and results leads to belief. So I'm blaming doTERRA's staff for missing up that arrow. It goes up. Results lead to more belief. That belief leads to more action, to more work. That leads to more results, and more results leads to more belief. But belief is everything. It's everything. If you're all wondering, like, how are you successful in doTERRA? It's as simple as this. Your job as a leader in doTERRA is to build belief. It's all belief. It's everything we do is about belief. Think about it. I don't know who I'm speaking to today, but you do. There's someone here. I don't feel like I'm speaking to a room of a few thousand people. I'm speaking to you, and you know who you are. This is about belief. You have to believe. And when you do, this is what happens. When you believe in the product, you share the product. When you believe in the company and the opportunity, you start to build business. Then you have to believe in you. Now look at the upper echelons of that belief, those belief levels. Believing in you, believing in your team, believing in your why, the reason you're doing this, believing in your influence. You have to believe that in your influence. Now, you'll notice that as it goes up, it says those who believe in their influence are blue diamond, but I'm gonna start there. Because this is where it all is. Let me give you an example of how you might believe in your influence. When I first got started in doTERRA, I happened to someone from a different company was trying to recruit me. And they became very successful really fast. And I said, how did you do it? And they said, and I kept pestering them, and they would not tell me. They wouldn't tell me. If I'm like, you gotta tell me how you did it. And he goes, 4 teams, 7 levels deep. I took out a napkin, I drew it out for him, and it looked like this. And I said, I turned around like that? That's what you did? And he goes, yeah, that's what I did. And I'm like, huh, seems kind of simple. All right. But what I realized is that because I believed, when I first started in doTERRA, I believed it would work. And that belief is something that is unique about you. Your belief, what's brought you to this moment in your doTERRA business where you are, that belief is uniquely yours, and it's full of experiences of your life that has brought you to this moment. And what you have to offer is your belief. And so what this looks like is if you started growing your business, I work with one person, and while I'm like, I'll give you an example. Like when I was working with Courtney Shepard, I'm talking to Courtney, I'm helping Courtney, I'm invested in Courtney, I want her to succeed. But in the process of that time, she introduces, we teach lots of people, we enroll lots of people. But there was someone who showed up at a class, and the first time I saw her, I thought, that's the diamond, that's her. And that was Julianne Ellis. And when she was there, she was 9 months pregnant. And while I'm talking to Julianne, I'm like, okay, this is it. And so we're starting, and she's like, she didn't believe it, but I did. I had the belief, and so even if they don't have the belief, if you believe in your influence, you know that your belief can influence the other person's belief. And so she couldn't see diamond. She didn't even see a reason to do it, but I knew she could do it. The first time I saw her, I'm like, that is the diamond in the room. Just like you. Whoever it is I'm talking to, just like you. You're the diamond in the room. And so I'm talking to Julianne, And she finally decides, okay, I'm gonna invite people to a class. And she does. And the person that shows up is Janet Marquez. I'm like, that's the diamond, I see her. And it was like, and you just went down. You kept going down. You kept going down. Whenever I run into people who stay focused on the people just on their front line, I just want to tell you, you're missing out on the best part of your business. You don't even know who your best friends are yet. But they're in your network. They're the next person. And so you just keep going down. And what you're offering is your belief. You're giving people your belief. As I drive depth, I know that what I have to offer is an abnormal level of belief. And I can help another person believe that way too. If you knew that with your support, they'd reach diamond, how would you respond to them? If you knew it. When you're working with a new person, even if they don't know it, but if you knew it, how would you respond? What if the person said, no, I don't want to do this, but you knew they would be diamond if they said yes? How would you respond to the no? What if they said they needed to take some time? It's okay, because I know with my help, you're going to be a diamond someday. I know it. I choose to believe it. And that's the best part about belief. All of the things we talked about, belief in the product, belief in the company, belief in yourself. This is the secret of it all. Belief doesn't happen to you. Belief is a choice. You now get to choose to believe those things. You get to choose. It's your choice. And if belief is the key and belief is a choice, then choose it. It's just simply a choice. Diamond's a choice. All of this is a choice. You choose to believe. That belief leads to work. That work gets you results, and it inspires belief in you and everyone around you. And if you knew the person you were talking to with your support would become a diamond, how would you respond? You got to believe in them. And one way I love to believe in them is to breathe that belief into them. I spend very little time motivating. What I mean is that to motivate is to provide with incentive and a reason. It's a carrot or a stick. I've sucked at it my entire time in doTERRA. To ask everyone on my team, does Seth have great incentives? No, I suck at incentives. I'm terrible at it. BOGOs come and go, and I'm like, there was a BOGO, dang it. I'm terrible at it. Oh, I'm really bad. But instead of motivating, what I choose to do is to try to inspire. And I looked at the definition of to inspire, and it said to fill with an exalting influence. And you're like, oh my gosh, how do you do that? It's really hard. Well, check out the next definition. To fill or affect with feeling. That's okay. To communicate or suggest by divine or supernatural influence. Okay, all right. Let's do this. I can do this. The last one is to guide by divine influence. How do you do that? It's easier than you think. All you have to do is choose to believe in them. Truly believe. And then tell them what you believe and what you see in them. Rod Richardson, my enroller, taught me when I'd go up to someone to ask myself in my soul, who are you? And I have found that every time I ask that, I get a glimpse into the soul of the human. And I see greatness. And I just have to tell them. I just have to tell them what I see. You'd be amazed at what people do when you express truth to them about who they really are and what they're truly capable of. I'll never forget working with Brad and Fernanda Stewart in Brazil. When I was working with them, I've never seen someone work so hard to reach a goal. I've never seen someone be so disciplined And as I was working with them, I told them what I saw in them. I said, you know what, you're not going to just be a great leader in Brazil. You're going to be the largest leaders in all of South America. Just because I told them the truth. Just because I told them what I saw in them. The next thing you know, Fernanda tells me she's taking Spanish lessons so she can learn how to build in the other areas of South America instead of just Brazil. Now they have a team growing in Chile, a team in Colombia and Ecuador. And I just think, and then she'd say, the reason I'm doing this, Seth, is because you said we'd be the largest leaders in all of South America. So they took Spanish. They learned a new language. So whoever it is that I am talking to in the room right now, I believe in you. You're greater than you possibly understand. I see greatness. So believe in your influence. Believe in you and your influence. But let's talk about believing in the company. Do you still believe in the company? I have to be honest, when I first got to doTERRA, I had my last business partner totally screw me. And that was actually a pattern that happened more than once in some other companies that I owned. When I came to doTERRA, I had no trust of anybody. In a corporate place, I remember sitting down with Dave Sterling and in the beginning, and he was telling me about everyone he'd put in place to make sure that the company was done well. And I said, really? I don't know if you remember this, Dave, but I said, who here at corporate of the founders has actually built a network marketing business as a distributor? He goes, no one. And I was like, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. You lying little cheat. And I'm like, okay. So I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna grow my business. But the whole time I'm like, let's see. At some point their true colors are gonna show. And sure enough, it's been how long? 14 years, and their true colors have shown over and 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 over again. And I know that crummy people are really good actors. People that suck, they're terrible people. They can act the part really well. They act so good and everything like that. But I figure if you've acted this well for 14 years, you know what? I believe it. You're good people, and I want to be around you. And while you go on your mission, guess what? This company is going to explode because of who you are. And I'm just, love it. And, by the way, I was in Jamaica, and I'm talking to Emily Wright, and I'm sitting down with, I said, Emily, you gotta tell, when we were in Florida at the Bloom Presidential Diamond Summit, Corey Lindley describes this vision of like growing the company to 3 times its current impact by 2030. And he gets up on stage and he goes, I want you to know we're all in. And I'm looking at them going, they're billionaires. How are they all in? Why would they be all in? They could go retire. They could do whatever. So in Jamaica, I asked Emily, I'm like, why are you all in still? You're still in, all the way in. And like, here I am. I'm like, I don't have to worry about payroll. I don't have to worry about sourcing products, co-impact sourcing. I don't have to worry about staffing, and I don't have to worry about fulfillment and free shipping and the LRP points and the blah, blah. I don't have to worry about any of that. And my life is so hard. I got to find the will to tell another person about essential oils because it's so hard, and I can't find it. And I'm like, and so here we are. We've got the best part of the gig. Did you guys get that? We have a partnership. We're in a partnership. Look, whoever it is that I'm speaking to, I want you to hear this. You're partnered with billionaires. That's your partner. And those partners are going to take care of everything. You suck at accounting, they got it. You suck at fulfillment, done. You suck at, so you're not very good at sourcing oils from every part of the globe. They'll do that too. And after all that's said and done, all that we have to do is tell another person and believe in him. That's the gig. Sign me up. Over and over. And I know why. It's because those guys have been acting for 14 years like they're good people. Yeah, they've just been acting. Well, guess what? I'm going to guess they're going to act that well for 14 more years. That's just a guess. And so I'm going to be on board with them. And when I was asking, so I asked Emily, what makes you keep doing it? I just asked Corey before I got on stage, why do you keep doing it? Why? And he said, it's the best way to help the most amount of people. It's for you. Whoever it is I'm talking to in the room, it's for you. So, do you believe in the company? I believe in the company. This is the greatest company in the history of the world. And we're going to prove that. It's going to make Apple and everything else look stupid when it's all said and done. So do you believe in the opportunity? Guess what? I believe in the opportunity. Do you want to know how much I believe in the opportunity? Well, how much time? Oh, I'm past time. Okay. I just got going, and I forgot about everything else, and I'm so sorry. But anyway, but... I heard him. So, okay, Justin Harrison said, "Screw it, keep going." All right, I'm gonna screw it, keep going. All right, so you know how much I believe in the opportunity? A few years ago, I was sitting in a convention. I was at convention. I was enjoying a Blue Diamond life. I was enjoying retirement, frankly. I loved it. I hate to say it, but when I first started doing doTERRA, I had a really stupid reason to do it. Everyone had these really inspirational whys. I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. Do you want to know what my why was? I wanted to do nothing. I wanted to do nothing. People would like call me, hey, what do you got on your calendar today? Let me check. Nothing. That's what I got going on. I wanted to wake up every morning and like look over at my wife and say, what are you doing today? And she'd be like, nothing. You know what I'm doing? Nothing. Let's do nothing together. That's what I wanted to do. It was inspirational to me. It doesn't have to be inspirational to you, but it was so inspirational to me. And so I got there, and you know what? I loved doing nothing. And I did something. I did whatever the heck I wanted in the moment I wanted to do it, and I loved it. And then I'm at a convention a few years back. While I'm sitting there, I'm watching Dave Sterling on stage talking about ending human trafficking, and I have this voice come so crystal clear into my mind. It was actually a thought, and the thought came so crystal clear that I swear I could hear it. And it just said this: Seth, you could do so much more. And I was like, I know. And the voice came back. Seth, you could do so much more. When it came the third time, I said, well, what could I do? In that moment, I had this image come into my mind that said 1,000 diamonds. And I remember going, what? What? 1,000? 1,000? 1,000? How many diamonds are in doTERRA already? Does doTERRA even have 1,000 diamonds? Same voice came back into my head. It said, go check. So while convention's happening, I'm out in the hall of the Salt Palace counting the diamonds in the hall. I finished counting them all, and there wasn't even 1,000 in doTERRA. And I'm like, you want me to create a team that's bigger than doTERRA? And the answer was yes. come to realize, though, is that my team is all of you. If Corey Lindley is willing to not be retired for us, then I won't be retired for you either. And so when my son returns home from a mission, he's 21 years of age, he's looking at all of his different things he wants to do, and he comes to me and he says, Dad, if you were me, what would you do? Now, knowing that I was going to create 1,000 diamonds, you want to know what I said to him? If I was you, I would do doTERRA with me. So we went to work. First class he had, 10 people showed up. Guess what? They were already signed up in doTERRA. Total failure. And I remember thinking, is he gonna do it? Is it gonna work? Is he gonna actually do it? Is he gonna keep going? And then he goes, well, I know people in New Jersey, New York. Do you wanna go? Let's go. Met a person in New Jersey from Guatemala. Oh, really? Do you know people in Guatemala? Let's go. Guess what? This will never end. Any thought in your head, the person I'm speaking to right now, if you think the opportunity is gone, you're believing a lie. There are billions of people on the planet. Less than 1% of them are in doTERRA. Just let that lie go. Do you think that I would tell my own son, my own flesh and blood, that the best thing he could do with his life is to be to work with me in doTERRA if I didn't believe it to the core? No way. And so then when my daughter returned home from her mission, I was just thinking, I'm gonna talk to her. She could sense it. And so before I could even approach her, no, Dad, no, Dad, no, 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 no. And then she went to Jamaica. And that's where we got her. But Janice, I want you to know something. Someday I'll be known as Janice's dad. I don't want you to be like Christian. I don't want you to be like anyone else. I want you to be exactly who you are, the very best version of you, and I believe so much in you. Even if you don't even want to do doTERRA, never want to do it, guess what? I'm so patient. If you have to wait until you're 30, I'll wait with you. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. And you know, some of you may not see a leader right here, but I sure do. I was in a church meeting the other day, and they're all asking all the young men in the room, what are you going to do when you grow up? They're all saying, I want to do this, this, this. They get to that boy, and he goes, doTERRA. And I'm like, and I looked over at him, and I thought, that there's a leader. I'm in it. So I know what you are thinking, whoever it is that you are. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, but I've already tried it. I did my best, and it wasn't enough, and it didn't work. I loved Laurie Kimball's presentation yesterday. You know what she taught me? She taught me to pay attention to the inspiration that comes to you and act on the inspiration. You're right, you did it before. Now do it inspired, and it'll work. Finally, I'm gonna skip that. Do you need to believe in the product? Now look, I know we all believe in the product, but do you really? Do you believe enough in it that you're willing to do to help everyone who can be helped? This person right here that you see here, Emily, she was in a wheelchair the first time I met her. The doctor gave her surgery on her, she had scoliosis. They put 2 rods in her spine to hold her spine straight. But the doctor who gave the surgery was high on meth when he gave the surgery. And so he messed her back up. She was done. She was in a wheelchair, couldn't walk, and was high when I met her because she was taking 8 different painkillers, end-of-life painkillers, including Oxycontin, fentanyl, and so forth. When I went to meet with her, Jacqueline, my sister, she said, Seth, can you come and help me talk to Emily? I said, sure. We went there. I remember meeting with her, and I remember thinking, what oil is going to straighten rods in the spine? I'm like, there's nothing I can do here. I remember just thinking, there's nothing I can do. And then I left, and I remember telling Jacqueline, I'm like, I don't know what to do. And she goes, okay. And I remember like looking into different solutions, but really it was just, what can you do? But Jacqueline, she believed in the product more than me. She had had a life-changing experience more dramatic than mine. And so she believed that there had to be a way. And so she was praying. She was doing the things that I didn't do. She was praying for Emily one day and received inspiration on exactly what to do. So then she went and told her team what they were going to do for Emily, and someone would show up every morning and perform a protocol, and the other person would show up at the night, perform a protocol, and this went on for weeks. After a while, they taught her 10-year-old son how to do it. And 8 months later, I walk into a meeting, and Emily walks up to me and says, do you remember me? I just remember being blown away by what had happened. And then I said, hey, have you been able to get off any of the painkillers? She goes, no, I'm addicted to them. The picture you see right there is when I went to her home and said, we need to get you free of this. Your kids deserve not only a mom that walks, they deserve a mom that is not a drug addict. And so in that moment, she decided to make a change. She went to her doctor, talked to him, and then went to a cabin with her dad, a box of essential oils, and did it. For years, I used to have a call that people would call into. I still do. But people would call in and share their different experiences. I'd just say, hey, what are your product experiences? What's happened? Every week, I just sat there going, my gosh, are you serious? Are you serious? What? Blown away. Of course, back then, similar to what David Sterling said, I was just a little bit more motivated by the small things. Like, what? You burned your finger and it didn't hurt? But one call, I'll never forget it. One of my sisters goes, Seth, went to a church activity. There was a woman there. She ate a brownie with a walnut in it. She goes, oh my gosh, I'm allergic to nuts. I need to go home and get my medication. So she left. My sister thought, I should probably follow her. So she got in her car, went to the person's house. When she got there, the door was open. The lady was on the floor, passed out, couldn't get to her medication in time. So what does my sister do? She believed in the product is what she did. She went in and she just started lathering her up, and she brought her back. And I remember just going, are you serious? You brought her back? And she's like, yeah. And then my next sister, she says to me, Seth, I was talking to a guy and he lost sight in one of his eyes. And so I was thinking, well, what could we do? And what did she do? She believed in the product. So she gave him what she felt inspired. And the next thing you know, she goes, and 3 days later, he woke up. He could see again. And I remember just going, are you, what? And on this call, I'll never forget the moment. I said, look, for all of you people that are about to share a product experience after this, if you haven't raised the dead or given sight to the blind, I don't want to know about it. But you know what? The thing is as awesome as those stories are, and they are awesome, they're no less miraculous than the things that we take for granted. Getting a good night's rest, getting rid of stress, helping your life be a little bit better. We need to make sure that that the miraculous little things don't become mundane to us. So whoever it is that I'm talking to in this moment, I do not want you to say a word. I don't want you to clap. I don't want you to say woo. I don't want you to say anything. I just want to ask you a question. If you're the one I'm speaking to, will you be a diamond? Will you be a diamond? Don't clap. Don't say a word. Don't make a noise. Will you be a diamond? If I'm speaking to you, if you're the one that I've been speaking to this whole time, will you be a diamond? Will you be a diamond? Will you? I believe in you. We believe in you. They believe in you. Will you choose to believe in you? Thank you very much.